Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seen on TV podcast for season 3, episode 4 of iZombie, Wag The Tongue Slowly. Tonight it's just me and Kim. And Kim, she's over there, not over there, she's over there. So what did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty entertaining. This whole so the whole beginning. So we get to see the lady before before Liv eats her brain. And I'm like,
Yeah.
This bitch.
Yeah. Oh my god. I couldn't have I don't know how that office put up with her for as long as they did.
I know. I think everyone has like a friend, maybe not to that extreme, but like has a friend that does that. Just like knows everybody's freaking business, or like so they know somebody in their neighbor. They know somebody who's like this. In my own time, it's my dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it was my grandma. So yeah, I totally get that. But I mean, like in an office working environment, it's like, especially in a bigger city, people aren't really supposed to know about you unless you want them to.
Well, she's obviously digging.
Oh yeah,
because she knew all kinds of shit. She'd probably know what should know. Though once we see her, the brain and lives, it's like she might be like imagining shit or think she's imagining shit. Apparently, so I don't know.
I don't know, but the beginning of the episode started off pretty much where it left off, and it was like the next day, and it's Ravi in the lab, hung the fuck over, and he's testing up Blaine and stuff. So yeah,
he fucked up.
He big time. He knows it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's suffering at this point. Mm-hmm. And then you have Liv coming in, being the gossip, and talking about everything's going on between Peyton and Blaine, and it's just like you're just sticking the knife and turning it.
I mean, first Liv kind of like she knew exactly what happened because her and Peyton lived together, so she's like, "So you did bad, and here's the reasons why, and here's exactly what you did." And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Well, that's when she was being nice.
Yes, that's before she the brain kicked in. But like all episode long, he's still drinking, he's still moping, and then you have Major trying to get him off his ass to do things. It's
getting him in trouble.
Yeah. Ravi, I feel like he's worse off than even Major at this point, who's, he's got a week left to live, and Ravi's worse off. I don't know. I mean, this whole side plot with Ravi and Major was better than just watching Ravi sit on just.
Oh yeah, Major definitely made the whole. I mean, their little sidekick thing they were doing, and Robbie falling asleep in the car, snoring.
That was the worst. If I knew somebody who snored like that and was right beside me, I'd definitely stuff like a whole freaking apple down their throat at that point. Like, geez.
Oh, there'd definitely be some like. I actually used to snore kind of like that, and I used to. In the middle of the night, I used to take like my hair and like put it in front of his nose, so he'd be like, "What?" and wake up, and like,
"Oh." It being Major, I'm pretty sure that he probably would have done something like that if they weren't staking out a place.
Yeah,
or at least drew a dick on his face with a Sharpie or something.
The story drove me insane. I've been like, okay, I'm done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a small little side plot because, Major's found out about Natalie. Natalie's okay, but she's being held captive.
In luxury.
Yeah, in luxury. She's telling him to go, but I think I don't know. I don't know if she's okay or if she's not okay. It seemed really like up in the air. yeah, she's being held captive, but I don't know if she's happy or sad about it. Like, is she in turmoil?
Well, she wanted. I mean, it's not the life she wanted.
Yeah.
But I mean, she just looks. She's basically a mistress being kept up in a nice, apartment.
Yeah.
Apartment.
But Major did give her the cure that Ravi gave him.
Yeah, I wonder how that's.
I don't know. I actually was kind of hoping that she would take it. Like right then and there, like, have a whole new life, because her old life's already screwed up.
But I think it's that whole losing your memory thing that's got, I mean, pretty much anyone going.
But he didn't really explain how the memory loss works. Like, because with Blaine, he still knew how to count and talk and walk and all that stuff. It wasn't like a full memory wipe where you have to start completely over. You still remember, like, the basic things that your body learns over the years. Yeah, you just forget of who you were and who knew you and all that stuff. For her situation, I don't see really I don't see any consequences, really.
I mean, she was a zombie hooker.
Yeah. I would want to forget that, to be honest. But, I mean, that's that whole side plot. They found her. She's okay, in quotation marks, and he gave her the cure. And they left it at that.
Then he runs away.
Mm-hmm. Then there's the whole blatant side plot.
They're so cute. I love them.
I love them. That's why I called it the blatant side plot, because I love their coupling. I don't like Peyton. I love Blaine, but together they're awesome. And, I mean, Liv did come to Peyton and say, you don't really have the big picture in mind. You're kind of obsessed about Blaine right now. And she's right. But at the same time, Peyton needs to focus on herself too, because she's gone through a lot of shit. She found out that zombies exist, kind of like a lot of other people. Like, it's kind of traumatic and it's scary. And then she's been rejected by Ravi, basically, because he's an idiot, after, putting herself out there for him. More than once. And then there's Blaine, and he's a great guy, even though she knows his past, but he's not that person right now, so they have that whole conflict.
Even if he would have remembered, I think something still would have gone on there. But she was so worried about his memories coming back, because he was so worried about his memories coming back, because he didn't want them back.
Yeah, he didn't want them back. He didn't want to be that person, which says a lot about the internal Blaine that was there from the very get-go, that he didn't want to be bad. It just happened to fall upon him.
Yeah, even though I don't think he grew up, I think his dad is a big jerk. Well, we know he's a big jerk. But I think it's his dad's influence that turned him that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was him acting out, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yep. I mean, because we did hear him, what was it, last episode, say, "I hate you. I've hated you since you were born." So, I mean, growing up with that, yeah, you're gonna make some bad decisions, because you live with it. Becomes a natural thing to do, I guess. I don't know. I didn't turn up that way, but I mean, you see it a lot, especially in TV.
It does happen a lot. I mean, I think it depends. I mean, it does. It depends on your raising. It depends. I think no one is born bad.
No, definitely not. That's just like, the whole debacle with pit bulls and other kind of dogs, where people just like ban the breed. It's like, no, it depends on the people who own the dog in the first place, what makes them aggressive or gentle.
He was the sweetest thing in the world. Not to mention, I had an old roommate. She had a pit bull and a cat, and the cat beat up the pit bull. It was like they play together. It was like the cat was had a pit bull, the pit bull had a cat, and so it's completely about how you raise.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a simple way to break it down, because humans are definitely different than dogs, or any kind of pet for that matter. But it's the same point, depends on your upbringing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame Blaine for not wanting his old memories back at all. And especially with this budding relationship with Peyton, who has grown as a character since season 1. I'm going to admit that, so I can't really hold much against her anymore.
She's definitely
But
better than she was, because she was, remember, before she was just a placeholder.
yeah, yeah.
Just there.
So it's this coupling in this show is like the first one I like, except for I like Major and Liv, but
I really like those two get together.
They just the whole zombie aspect is holding them back for reasons that we all know about already. So,
but I mean, more once they got close, and then they split, they pull apart again, and then they get. I'm really wondering this whole Cure thing. I'm really hoping he takes the Cure, and if he does forget, that it brings them two together.
That it starts from scratch for them.
Because even if you forget your memories, I don't think you forget the feelings.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Depends on how strong feelings are.
Yeah, especially if he was like soulmate kind of deal. Like that's how he felt or how he feels, and he just won't act upon it because of Liv, knowing what she's going through already. Yeah. He blames Peyton without talking to Liv, invites Blaine to live on their couch until
She didn't seem exactly happy with that.
No, because she kind of knew what was going on. I think that's why she didn't really go home the whole week, because not only because of the brain and her constant research into people's lives, helping Clive out with the investigation,
awkward.
But yeah, it's very awkward. Like, oh wait, we're making chicken cordon bleu. There's enough for trois. Would you like to join us? It's like, yeah, no.
So glad that you've got to know the fact the reason you're a zombie is because it's like.
Yep. He scratched you. He started all of this.
It's all your fault. I wonder if obviously they haven't told him that. He doesn't know that.
I don't think he does know. He knows a lot of the dirty shit he did with meet cute and drugs and stuff, but I don't think he knows about Liv.
I think it'd be interesting for that to come out eventually with his memory.
Either that or they have mentioned it and they just kind of toss it off the side like it doesn't matter.
But I don't know, I think it'd be interesting for it to come into play.
Yeah, definitely. It'd make him feel even more guilty. Poor guy.
He does feel like a dick. And I thought it was so cute, the morning scene when we found out his memory hasn't come back, and she drags him into the bedroom. He kind of looked like a lost puppy, like he was surprised by it. Like he was like, oh, this is. Oh.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know how to do anything. He hasn't done anything since he lost his memory.
I think that's something we don't. I think that's part of just. But yeah,
it's instinct at this point.
He's become a lot sweeter, so it's still going to be that shy.
Yeah.
Sweetness. No matter how many times you may have done it, if that's still your personality, it's going to be that way.
Yeah. But the night before, the way he put a halt on her.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. He's like, whoa. He's pushing her off, and she's still going at it. It's like, oh boy. She's really wanting this right now. He's just like, no.
She didn't sleep. She paced in front of watched him sleep.
That's true. But that was more anticipation of waiting for his memories to return, I think. I don't know. I was actually kind of worried that maybe because his memories didn't return is because there's nothing left to remember because he already remembers. And he's just really good at playing it off.
That's what I wondered too. I'm like, what if he is remembering? He's just playing it right now.
Yeah. And he's doing real well, if that's the case. And I mean, I was like, well, if this happened, then obviously, he would his memories aren't back, and but knowing Blaine, we could never really tell, but he played off his dad really well at that meeting last episode, and
I think it wasn't like if he didn't have his memory before, but he got his memory back now, and he didn't want him to come back anyway. I would still think he'd still remember. He'd obviously, even if his memories come back, he'd still remember the way he wanted to be. So if he was still wanted to be that way, and he didn't want anyone to see that the bad side of him came back, and he still wants to play it off that way, or still be the person that he is now, but not say that he's got his memories back. I mean, I think that's plausible.
He easily could have just woken up that day, even though he got his memories back, and be like, "No, I'm good. I don't remember anything." He could have easily.
Yeah, that's what my thought process. I'm like, well, maybe he's faking it now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he knows what this current Blaine is. He knows how to act upon that, because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't lose the memories of it. Wouldn't take its place. He's going to remember everything up to this point, so he knows how to act as this Blaine. So he could pull it off. We know he's a really good actor from everything he's done since season 1. But with side plots aside, we get to the brain of this episode, which we did talk a little bit about in the beginning. Her name was Cheryl, and she was the office chatterer, gossip, and oh my goodness.
Is there a name for an extreme gossiper?
I want to say a really bad word, but I'm not going to. I couldn't handle that. I would have ripped her a new one easily. Even if she had dirt on me, I would have made it so she doesn't crawl back up from the dirt that she decided to dig up on everybody. I would not put up with that shit. But I wouldn't do it so that she would die.
Gossip. A babble. She's a babbler.
She's a babbler. But they didn't think she'd die either. So that's. I mean, it's not okay what they did, but
Scuttlebutt. I love that one. No, but I guess I like the whole. I guess it would be. It's airing everyone's dirty laundry out for everyone to see. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
So because she did that, they decided to spike her yogurt with Utopium so that she'd be loopy at work and get back at her. But
they overdosed her.
It actually it was a bad reaction with the meds she was on. So it just killed her outright while she's on the toilet.
It's gross.
It was so gross. And I was half expecting that later on she'd be a zombie, but she ended up just being a slab. Yeah, a slab.
But we realize it's because it's Utopium laced with Max Rager that makes them zombies.
Yeah. I was actually kind of hoping she would, because that would have been interesting for a little while.
A gossip-bringing zombie.
Yeah, just throw her with Fillmore Graves and see how she fits in that office environment.
Should have been shot.
Maybe they would have used her. If she can dig information out like she was, Fillmore Graves could have used that easy.
Yeah, but a spy with loose lips.
That's true. Just lock her in her own little office so she doesn't react with and interact with anybody else, But Clive knew this whole time she was on these brains, but I guess he didn't expect how extreme they were, because he's looking at her still what is wrong with you?
Well, he didn't realize what it was until they're like, oh, she's a gossiper. Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, now I get it.
And then I like how he was getting so annoyed with how she was just gossiping about everything, bringing office gossip into the interrogation room. And then later on, after paying attention to what she's gossiping about, he sees it happening, and then he calls her, or he's on the phone, and he's like, guess what? And I thought that was so funny, because I never would have expected Clive to do that at all, ever.
She's like, oh, I think you're right. Oh my god. I think everyone's got a little bit of gossiper in them.
Yeah, and it was kind of like it's kind of one of that in particular with the office romance where it's not supposed to happen, especially in like a police environment. They really try to say like, please don't. That it
Well,
interferes with investigations and everything. Yeah.
In any job, if you're the boss should never date the people that are under him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, moving.
There were so many interrogations. So many. It's just like there was like one after another, after another, after another. They went through like the whole office.
I laughed.
And big freaking. That was just the text messages they were sending to one another. There was many other binders. She's like, ooh, another binder. She was so excited because she got to read into everybody's background. But it worked out because she figured out that it was Jim, Vicky, and Rhonda the porn star, that Ravi ended up really...
So threw me off when they were like, oh, I used to be a porn star. I was like, what?
I mean, I looked at her after a while. I was like, oh, I see it. But it was interesting because we went to Ravi. It's like, I have an assignment for you. And it was actually one of those perfect distractions for him.
He's like, oh, I have to watch porn. Okay.
Yeah. But then at the same time, he kind of turned into a stalker.
But
yeah, it was Jim, Vicky, and Rhonda. Jim accidentally butt dialed Vicky the code to pull the fire alarm.
A text message.
I know. That's why when he's like, I butt dialed her, and he's like looking around. You could tell it was a blatant lie. And Clive was.
The person in the bottom of my head was like, how do you butt dial a text?
You don't. There's many steps into sending a text, and that is not just one button with your butt. It doesn't happen.
I mean, I butt dial people.
Oh, yeah.
But never butt text.
No, I don't think it's...
text. I don't like... Well, now obviously my phone's like locked. But
yeah,
when I first got my iPhone, I was butt dialing people all the time. It was either my mom or Taryn all the time.
The people that are on the top of your list that time, like you just contacted them, so they're at the top of your list, and that's where the automatic you sit down, and that's where it's automatically. Well, I assume that's where it's gonna go to first.
I consider even with my phone open, I'm just here tapping it. It goes to a video, one of the games. You know what I mean? I just, even if it went to the phone, it literally would be impossible. Even if you, even if you accidentally, let's just say you hit the messaging, you still would not only have to hit the messaging, but then hit the text, box. And then you have to go, it was an escalation point. So you have to accidentally hit the symbol button, and then accidentally just hit that symbol.
Yep. Doesn't make no. There's no way you could. Maybe a letter, like you said, you have to hit the style button to go to the exclamation part, and yeah, there's no way unless you were bouncing in your chair and hitting the same spot every time or something. I don't know. I don't.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Literally, it was that comment was so full of bullshit that it had coming out of his eyes.
Yep. I mean, they were pretty screwed from the get-go, but for him to do that, it just solidified it for them. You're an idiot, so are they. You're all busted. Even though the intention was just to mess her up and make a fool of herself in the office, they did bad.
I'm trying to sit here and figure out how you text with your butt.
You can't text with your butt. Until someone's like, here's a video. I just proved I can text with my butt, and be like, oh, well, thank you.
I'm gonna actually call someone. Stop.
Oh man.
I call my mom or something. Well, why are you calling me? It was for science.
It was for science. It's perfect. They just had it so easy with these guys. With Liv doing all the the research and Clive just being there. I don't know. He was really intimidating, especially for Jim. And they were trying to pin it on Pete, who looked like the office pushover.
For years.
I know.
He was like it. I was like,
even
it was horrible. I mean,
I mean, they did kind of plan it out good if it was just gonna end up being a prank, but there's not enough cover up for a murder at all. But like, oh yeah, and then the zombie murders that Clive is also taking care of with Wally and his parents, or his mother and his uncle. They found out that the arm that they used as a palm pass to get into the lab at the Max Rager party was actually the brother. What are you laughing about? The brother of a guy on their subreddit, their zombie subreddit or whatever it is that, you know, the apocalyptor people that believe in zombies.
Apocalypper.
I don't even know.
Post-apocalypse.
Yes, that's the one.
Zombie apocalypse. Yeah. Zambies.
He's a gun enthusiast, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it was his brother that they used the severed arm for, which was really interesting because for them to reference an old episode, it doesn't really happen that often, especially in that context, where it
I tried to remember the person.
He was the one that they took his arm when they were in the stairwell.
No, I remember, but that's like, I can't remember like him like the whole episode.
Oh gosh, I mean, he was a bigger built person, and he was shaven. I think he was in the in an earlier episode last season. He was in the lab with douche nozzle face. I don't even remember him because the actor also plays a couple other characters from other TV shows that I'm not a fan of. So I kind of carry over my dislike through series. So when he came out on this, knowing that he was going to be a big bad, I was like, "Oh, dude, I don't like you already. So this isn't good for you." But
that's like actors, they always play bad guys in movies, and you're like, "Oh, there's a bad guy."
Exactly. They're just kind of typecasted, and it's like, I can't like you already because I hated you before, or you were a villain before. I just can't. I don't trust you. But yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact part where I think he was a zombie and they had to kill him or something, or he was already ripped apart by another office group.
I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I think I have to go back and watch it because he really was kind of like a one-off character. That's all we thought anyways. Like, oh, he was just the severed arm that they used, right? But now they're bringing him back, and it's not because of him having an active part in the episode. It's because of his brother saying, and just being like, if zombies exist, believe me, I'm gonna shoot their asses. And there's a lot of other people that are gonna have the same feelings and they're gonna act the same way. And that's what Fillmore Graves is trying to combat. And so that's just, I don't even know. He's gonna come. We're gonna see him more often. I hope we do, because that he is going to. It's not just Fillmore Graves that's causing issues, or the zombieism, the cure that's an issue, or there's a lot of things going on, and they're just adding
like
more.
The start
and
of
more.
the zombie apocalypse kind of thing. Like that. I mean, it's a fear, especially in real life right now, with a lot of shows going on right now. And like everyone's like they like prepared, even though it's like we had the weird bath salt shit that was going on, a few years back. So it's always like on the brain somewhere. It's like, oh, something's gonna happen. We're gonna have a zombie apocalypse because some drug is gonna get out and do something stupid, or something or other.
At least it's drug based instead of religion based now, because you get all those like, oh, heaven or hell was full of dead, so they're just coming back to life in on this
like,
plane. It's like, what?
It's Revelation's gone haywire.
Yeah, those are the that's actually the type of zombies that I don't like, where they don't have an explanation when they come back.
No,
It's like they just appear, they just start crawling out of graves, and it's like, excuse me, what? Like, whereas you get.
I wouldn't say the exact same. It's not. It's kind of the same concept. Like we played the Dragon Age series. They don't call them zombies. But I mean that's what they are basically. But they come there. But it was that's religion based.
Yeah. And but like these types of zombies where they have an origin, like this is the Utopian Max Rager zombies, and that's the origin of these zombies. And Resident Evil has the virus, and
20 days later the virus.
Yes, those make sense to me because they happened for a reason.
Last Man on Earth, which no, they called it I Am Legend. They changed the name, but it's originally from the Last Man on Earth, I think, or something like that. That's what's called. And that was drug based.
That was also drug based.
Yeah.
It just was it the Rage virus, or was that 28 Days Later?
That's 28 Days Later.
Okay.
But actually, Last Man on Earth is like the first time you see zombies as it was drug related.
Yeah.
Instead of related.
So, I mean, that's a lot of people are like, well, if you don't like zombies, how come you're watching iZombie? So, well, for one thing, it's campy and cheesy, and there's not like actual shambling zombies running around unless they are starved.
Very little like.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about it, and like it's funny, it's entertaining, whereas the other ones scare the shit out of me. So there's the difference.
I'm not a fan. Like I watched 28 Days Later, I fell asleep. I've never been like super like into zombie movies at all.
No.
Like, ever. I'm just like whatever. I watch Zombieland because it's funny.
No, I still haven't even watched that. I haven't even seen Shaun of the Dead.
That's another one I watched because it's funny, but I'm not like super into. I like other stuff, like slashers. I'm really into
and like thrillers. Yeah. Things like that.
I haven't watched I don't watch as many horror movies as I used to be. I used to be very into horror movies, but horror movies are not what they used to be. Like I said, as me being liking the slasher stuff, I'm like, there's more games out now. Like, well, Outlast is just gross.
I don't think I've ever seen Outlast be played, and I've never touched it myself for obvious reasons.
Just gross. There are some parts in there that are just gross. Like I watched someone play yesterday, a couple days ago, the Whistleblower, which I hadn't played, and I'm cringing because I'm just like, ooh. And it's gotta be pretty like gory and just to get me, and I'm just like, ooh. No. I'm not a fan of dolls. So that's like
Emily wants to play.
I have that game. I'm supposed to play it. And I haven't played it
yet. You're not gonna like it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say.
A fan of dolls.
I think the only other thing for this episode is that Major's getting deployed. At the end of the episode, he's on a plane with everybody else in his military suit. So, I mean, he did mention that they were going to be sent off to another country or something. Do you think that's the case, or do you think it's just
I can't remember that. I know they were talking about it a couple different times. Like, there's something else going on in other countries with the whole zombie stuff, and it's not obviously as contained as it is. But I would imagine that. I mean, you got third world countries where they're having problems with people's health anyway in general, and then you throw zombies into the mix. I can imagine where they would have more trouble in some of those countries than we would here.
But now he doesn't have the cure with him because he gave it to Natalie. So, and that, he already only had a few days left. I'm pretty sure, because it was last episode where I said you have 7 days, and he used a couple up this episode, so he doesn't, unless he gets back to Rafi real quick, or Fillmore Graves has something to fix him while he's out there, or he finds something out there. I don't know. But
it'd be interesting if they find something.
Yeah,
that'd be a crazy twist to throw in there.
Yeah,
if another country found a cure or something.
Yeah, but I think that's everything. I mean, I'm worried for Major, obviously, because we don't want to see him leave the show. But I know he's not going to. He's kind of got that protective shield he has, the writer's shield for plot. The plot shield is what it is. I think that's what it's called, or plot armor.
I definitely don't see him as an expendable character. I mean, it'd be really throw me off, and I think I'd be really upset with this show for a little while.
Oh yeah, so would I.
That because I really like Major.
I mean, that could though lead into being allowed to bring in some of the different supernatural elements, like the soul elements, where they talk about everybody has a soul and each soul has its own power, and that the Utopian Max Rager solution actually opened up the connection to allowing these supernatural powers to come to be. So, I mean, maybe Major will be the first one to show these kinds of things to happen, I guess. I hope.
Like Ghost? Or maybe that's the alternate route they take. What if, he dies, but he doesn't really die? Like, maybe he isn't, the whole zombie thing, and you become something different.
Yeah. Maybe you go higher up into the chain of undead, because we know from RPGs and Dungeons and Dragons that zombies are pretty low on the chain. What if dying and being coherent and stuff like he is actually pushes him up on the chain and makes him something more powerful?
Not like dying. Like, obviously if he's shot in the head, it's maybe obviously that. Yeah. But this is like what they would consider zombie dying of natural causes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not gonna starve him. Like, he's not gonna end up being a shambling zombie and dying from starvation. He's just gonna outright die. So that allows for a little bit of, I think, the writers to think out of the box. I think, especially since the comics they're knee deep not only in science but in the supernatural elements. So it's about time they bring those in. I think, anyways. Or were-dogs. That'd be cool. I want to see the were-dog. What was it? It was a wiener dog in the comics, right?
Yeah, it's wiener.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wiener dog.
Wiener dog. But I think that's... Do you have anything else to say? No? I think that's...
off tangents. Yeah.
We did on a couple of tangents anyways. So that's it for this episode. So next episode 5, is called Spanking the Zombie. And the tagline they have is 50 Shades of Liv. Now, I have something to say.
Did we do this before?
I swear we did. She consumed the brain of a novel writer of erotica, right?
Right, that was the one, and we made this big deal, and Dom was making fun of me because all this is right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is another one of those episodes, because when Liv consumes the brains of a dominatrix, her bossy and controlling personality makes everyone a little uncomfortable, especially Clive.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna
Meanwhile, Blaine and Peyton have a heart-to-heart.
Oh.
And I hope that's not him coming clean and saying, "Hey, I remember it the whole time."
Or saying that he actually did remember, his memories did come back the other day.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not the conversation they have, but I mean, what other heart-to-heart can they have?
Or maybe the memories are coming back slowly.
Slowly. That makes sense.
So they are coming back, just not as quick as they thought they would.
Oh boy. All right, so that's everything, I think, for this episode. Kim, where can the people find you?
On the Twitters at HUFFITY, PUFFITY.
And you can find me also on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24. You can find more of us and more episodes of all the TV shows that you might like, movies, games, right here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, and just, you could, just places. Use Google, because even if you just type in one of our names, I'm pretty sure we're going to show up somewhere. So, and you'll be linked back to here, and it's a vicious cycle, but it's a good cycle.
Or I go under Beer, so BEIRA. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, we have places.
And Pinterest, but you don't want to be on my Pinterest because that's all K-pop.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again next episode. Next time. Next week.
Bye.
Later, Gators.
Of course, my Twitter is all K-pop.
I think mine's all basically retweets of streamers.
I do that too. I'm a retweet bot. Don't you know?
Yeah.